back to my channel. My name is Shanae and we are here pursuing change on this channel. Today's video is a long-awaited 7-month lock update. I haven't fully updated you guys since the third video, the third month, and then I had a 4th month video that I did take down that was on a separate channel. But anyways, that's a long story that we're not gonna tell. So, 7 months. And I don't really feel like I've seen much change, but then when I look back on my older videos, I'm kind of like, okay, yeah, I kind of see it. But I've really just been letting my hair be. I've been letting my hair just do its thing, do what it wants. I don't manipulate it. The only styling I do is I'll put these two up right here. But beyond that, I just let it be. I let it do its thing, and that's been my #1 thing. So because I haven't seen much change, I just wanted to talk to you guys really quick about what my current routine is. So I currently wash with the Dr. Bronner's Peppermint Castile soap. That hasn't changed. I do dilute it. I try to remember to. Sometimes I'm lazy and I will just wash straight up with it, which I know is not good, but that's just when I'm lazy. So most of the time I do have it diluted in its own bottle where I can just use it and wash my scalp. And I've been really trying to wash my scalp. I've been trying to stretch. I usually would wash, before I would wash about 2 to 3 times a week, which I'm now figuring out is probably way too many times a week to wash my hair. I'm learning that overwashing my scalp can actually be part of the issue as to why my scalp has been experiencing so much itchiness. So I made it a point last week to try to go a month without washing. So that's been about almost 2 weeks now, and I haven't felt the urge to wash my hair. My scalp has actually been the least itchy it's ever been since before time. I mean, before I even had locks, I had itchy scalp. And I do think a part of the issue was just doing too much with my hair, whether it was styling or product usage or just mixing too many oils. One thing I found out from Yanni the Lockologist here on YouTube, and she's on Facebook as well, is that our scalp is just a completely different type of skin than what we have on our body. And while our body can handle multiple products, as far as like my body butter, I can put on my skin and it soaks it in and it loves it. But my scalp, it just needs the simple stuff. You know, it already creates its own oil, so I don't really need to do too much up there. But because it is winter time, I do use a little bit of oil. But she had a specific video on her Facebook Live, which you can go back and find. I'll try to link her Facebook page below, where she talks primarily about itchy scalp and how we use too much stuff on it. And she recommended mixing half coconut oil, half olive oil with 6 to 8 drops of tea tree oil. And so I didn't have coconut oil at the time. Shocker, I know, because I always have oils. But I did have my olive oil, so I went ahead and I bottled up some olive oil in a dropper bottle with some tea tree drops. And I followed her instructions, and she said, you know, every 4 to 5 days, not 45, but 4 to 5 days, put the drops on your scalp. And so that's what I've been doing for the past few weeks now, and I've definitely noticed a difference. Now my scalp still itches, but not as bad as it did before. I find myself not even thinking about it, where before I was constantly thinking about my scalp itching. So that's definitely helped, along with trying to just stretch how far I wash. Before, I would wash my hair, especially since I'm working out, I would wash my hair, I would say every 2 to 3 days, maybe. I would at least 2 to 3 times a week for sure. And that was way too much, and it's a wonder that my scalp was freaking out. So one thing I've noticed is that, I say this a lot, but I think that as time goes on, we complicate things way more than they need to be, and especially when it comes to our hair, because you know, beauty is a huge, huge, huge business industry. God did not create a stupid body, okay? So keep it simple is the biggest thing that I've learned. So I've simplified even more. So literally all I do is I wash my hair with the Dr. Bronner's, and I'll be washing it probably at the end of this month. I'm gonna, like I said, I'm gonna try to stretch it out at least a month, and then try to stretch it out even longer each time. and then I will go ahead and just put the oil on my scalp, and that's it. I don't do anything else throughout the week besides spraying my hair with the rose water mixture that I've already shared with you guys way back when. One thing I have started adding to the rose water mixture is a little bit of glycerin, and I do that myself. I don't buy it pre-mixed. I buy the rose water, like I mentioned to you guys, out of the grocery store in the international food aisle. It's usually located in the Indian food area or Mediterranean food area. And I buy it for about $3 a bottle. It's a pretty big bottle and it lasts me a long time. And I buy a separate bottle of vegetable glycerin, and I buy that from the Now brand, and I buy that it's usually in my natural beauty section. And so those two products alone make tons of uses for me. So rather than buying the bottle that's already pre-made and having to buy that every month, I just refill my own bottle, and one bottle of rose water can last me about 3 to 4 months. And then the glycerin, because I only use a little bit of it, I don't even know, probably will last me 6 months to a year. So overall I spend maybe, it's $3 for a bottle. The glycerin, I can't even remember how much it was. That's not gonna help you guys, but I spend maybe, I don't know, $9 every 3 or 4 months. Which to me is way better than $6 every month, because I've seen the prices around like $5 or $6 for that spray. And so that's what I do, and that's just to keep my locks themselves moisturized. And I don't always spray every day. It's really just if I feel like they need it kind of thing. So some days I wake up and my locks just look moisturized and they look happy, and so I don't spray anything. Some days I wake up and they look like they might need a little help, so I spray a little bit, shake them out, and then go. So anything else that I do in my routine? I have been retwisting. Well, I just started retwisting. So here's the story. When I first started, I noticed that my locks were really kind of meshing together and it was making me nervous. So I started interlocking. There's mixed reviews on interlocking versus palm rolling versus retwisting versus all the different millions of ways we complicate locks. But I started interlocking, which is just knotting the hair at the root. And that did serve me well. And then I hit a point after my 4-month update where I actually stopped retwisting and stopped interlocking. I just let them grow, and I would just separate them, like whenever they got wet in the shower, I would just kind of separate them so that they could keep growing into their own locks. And yeah, and then I just recently retwisted maybe about 2 weeks ago or a week and a half ago, something like that. I don't know. Timing flies to me. And I retwisted it, and I just twisted the root. I didn't interlock it, I didn't palm roll, I just twisted the root. And I did that with just a little bit of castor oil with already wet hair, and I pinned them down with some bobby pins and let them dry overnight. And I woke up the next morning and I took out all the pins and I went about my day, and that was easy to me. So that's what I'm gonna be doing, but I'm not gonna be retwisting every month just because I don't feel the need to. I feel like as long as I keep the locks separated on their own, they'll kind of just lock up on their own. I'm not worried about them being super manicured. I actually prefer not to see my scalp. I feel weird when I see my scalp, so now it's finally kind of like getting back to its, you know, fluffy look, which I miss and I love because it looks fuller and I just love it more. So I mean, that's pretty much my routine. Retwist with castor oil and with already wet hair. Let it air dry. Don't sit under a dryer or anything like that. I just let it air dry. I'm not interlocking currently. I know people have asked me if I noticed that my locks are bumpy because of interlocking, and honestly, I mean, they were kind of bumpy before interlocking, but the bumps don't bother me. I really just like how unique my locks are. I like that they're their own and that nobody else's locks can look like mine. That's the one thing that I really love about locks. So I don't mind the bumps, and how I think there's like one that kind of does its own thing and curls up somewhere. Oh, this one kind of like curls up and does its own thing at the end. So I mean, there's just locks that do their own thing, and sometimes you see like sometimes they're like half of them are poking out and sometimes they're like laying down, you know. It depends on their mood, and I just go with the flow when it comes to the locks. And do have to admit, the one thing that this journey has taught me is to be comfortable with myself and comfortable with who I am. Because before, I would feel very uncomfortable leaving the house without my hair styled in some sort of way. This was before I got locks, but once I got locks, I knew I was in for the long haul. I knew I was going to go through phases where maybe I didn't love my hair, but I decided to put on my big girl panties and go outside anyway. And I've noticed that I get more compliments from people who genuinely love the way my hair looks. And it surprises me sometimes, and it always seems to happen on days where maybe I don't feel so in love with my hair. So it just reminds me just to be comfortable and confident in yourself and how you look, no matter what weight you're at, no matter where you are in your hair journey. Maybe you have a buzz cut, maybe you have a TWA, maybe you have a big long fro, maybe you have locks, or maybe you're in the beginning stages of locks. You know, it doesn't matter. Just be confident in who you are and you'll be fine. And that's one of my biggest takeaways from having locks, is just loving who you are and embracing fully who you are, whether, you know, you're going through a rough patch or whether you're at the top of a mountain. It doesn't matter. So I guess that's pretty much all of my takeaways from having locks for 7 months. My next update will most likely be at 9 months, just because I don't want to keep, unless I notice a big change by the 8-month mark. If I notice like a huge change, then yes, I will definitely get on here and update you guys. But planning and shooting for 9 months, and then the 1 year lockiversary, which will be super exciting. But that's pretty much it. I went over my routine. I'll do the 360 for you guys, and I'll be sure to insert clips. Let me know if you've noticed a change, because sometimes I feel like, I guess because I see my locks every day, I don't always notice a change. I mean, they're definitely more dense, I can say that. Which, you know, they're a little bit heavier than they were, of course, when they started, because a lot of shed hair has created these locks. I think pretty much all of the ends are sealed at this point, from what I can tell, except for maybe like this one. Which still has like a little bit of a straggly end. There's maybe a couple that still have a couple straggly ends. They're still very fluffy, a lot of fluff going on, and I've just hit the point where I really could care less. I do love the size of them. They're, you know, they're just a good size to me. I didn't go into this knowing what I wanted. I just twisted up my hair and just went along with it. So I'm loving it right now. They're finally getting a little bit of length back, especially in the back. Like, I feel like I kind of have like a almost like a bowl cut, it seems like sometimes, but they're definitely shorter up top, and that's just because when I did damage my hair with the wasn't a relaxer, it was close enough that it was pretty much the same thing. Texturizer, yeah. When I damaged my hair with the texturizer, I noticed a lot of the hair up front got really like just complete damage. So the back has always been longer than the front since then. So yeah, the back is almost hitting, it's almost there. You know, it'll be there soon enough. But I also noticed that because I wrap my hair at night, they get bumped under. So there's another girl here on YouTube. Her name is Natural Nirvana, I believe, and she has a video where she shows how she avoids that issue by using a slip. And she'll use a slip and then she'll just secure it with a scarf on top, and it allows her locks just to kind of just hang. So I may do that, may start doing that instead, just because I notice every morning when I get up, they're bumped under, and so I don't really get to fully appreciate the length that they're at because they get so curled under every day. That, and I've just kind of been sleeping without one. I have a satin pillowcase anyway, so there's really no harm, and I really like letting my scalp breathe. I find a lot of times I wake up with feeling like my scalp is kind of irritated or itchy after sleeping with the scarf on, maybe because I sweat, I don't know, but I have been sleeping without a scarf and it's been wonderful. So hey, do what feels right to you in this journey and keep it simple and appreciate every step and every stage. And yeah, let's get into the 360.